Hafide, welcome back to Weekend Edition. This is Rehash, where we talk about the big stories of the past week. And I'm going to go ahead and start because it required me to hold my cell phone up for the Facebook Live for the duration. A lot of waiting. Earlier this week, we went to the Chancery and we tried to meet up at least with officials from the Vatican. Walking up in anticipation for the meeting were members of the Concerned Catholics of Guam and the Lady Forward movement. They had their signs again, Defrock Apron, and they were there to send a message to officials from the Vatican who are visiting to meet with residents from Guam. And one of them is Roland Cindy. And Roland Cindy, if you remember, is one of the 4 individuals to accuse Archbishop Anthony Apron of child molestation decades ago while at St. Mount Carmel Parish in Agate. And so it turns out the Vatican wouldn't hear Sandia's testimony with his lawyer in the room. And again, he's represented by attorney David Lujan. So it looks like the Vatican won't get to hear that deposition in person. They're going to have to just read about it in writing in an affidavit form sometime next week. We also did see some other people leaving the Chancery. We saw Deacon Steve Martinez. If you remember, he spoke out previously about the church's flawed policies when it comes to a bishop standing accused. He was a former sexual abuse response coordinator for the church, so he wasn't able to detail what he spoke about, but the Vatican, I understand, left on Friday. Lisa?
Okay, well, another big story this week has to do with DOE. So we all remember last year when John Fernandez, the board voted to terminate his contract late at night. Well, just on Friday, they retracted that statement or that vote, and they voted to reinstate him as superintendent. They also voted to rescind the bill of particulars and the investigation reports, which actually never had the signature of the legal counsel, Gary Gumatau. So those are expunged from his personnel records, and we'll just have to see what Fernandez wants to do if he ends up coming to work on Monday. So he's been on leave for 7 months, but they've asked him to return. So we'll see where that goes. Attorney David Lujan said he's not really sure if Fernandez will be returning, but it's definitely under discussion. So we'll have more on KUAM.
Well, for me this week, it's been one of the most polarizing issues for the past 2 years. Again, raises, that's what I'm talking about again. And they had a public hearing this week on one of the proposals, Bill 4. It was an over 5-hour public hearing. People like Guamanians for Fair Government, they testified that they need to put this issue behind them. There's more important things to talk about, like school repairs, and that once this bill passes, they'll be able to gain lawmakers will be able to gain the trust back from the people of Guam. But then other people, like actually every director, it seems like, from the government of Guam, they testified against this bill, saying that senators and the governor and lieutenant governor, they deserve their raises for all the work they do. And like for the chief of police, J.I. Cruz, he was telling lawmakers, yeah, this is only going to be $47,000 a month that will be saved if they repeal these raises. And even though it could pay for at least like 2 officers, I believe, he was saying we should invest this more into these island leaders to implement policies where they can hire more police officers, create bills to hire more police officers. So I know there's another hearing next week on another related measure, not specifically to repeal raises, but just to delink the governor's and the lieutenant governor's salary to the directors. And then I know Senator Nicholas has Bill 11 on one to repeal raises for everyone. No public hearing has been set for that, so we'll see.
Yeah,
and speaking of those key cabinet members, a number of them will be going with the governor to Washington, D.C. He held a news conference this week just to announce that he will be attending the National Governors Association conference. But while there, some of his key cabinet members will be meeting with their counterparts from the Trump administration. And among the top priorities, the issues that they want to discuss are the H-2B visa denial rate, which is at 0 now. It used to be at 100%. And then also, of course, the long-standing issue of compact impact compensation reimbursement for Guam. So those are some of the issues. And the governor says that he's hopeful that the Trump administration, because Trump, of course, is a fellow Republican, he'll get better results than the previous administration. Of course, Barack Obama was a Democrat from another party. So,
okay, so good luck to the governor and his cabinet. And if you have any news tips for us here at the KUAM News Team, just email us at reporters@kuam.com. It's that simple.